My name is Sophie and I'm 32 years old. I live in a tiny two-bedroom apartment nestled at the edge of our quiet town. It's nothing fancy, just four walls, peeling wallpaper, and a balcony that catches the last golden light of day, but it's home. I share it with my 5-year-old son, Ethan, and my father, who's been my anchor for as long as I can remember. Life hasn't been gentle with us. My marriage ended 3 years ago in a storm of arguments and silence. Walking away was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but staying would have destroyed me. Since then it's just been the three of us, me, my little boy, and the man who once held my hand through grief when I was just a teenager. My mother died when I was 17. I still remember the numbness of that day. I came home from school to find my father sitting silently on the couch, his eyes hollow, staring at the wall. From that moment on, he became both mother and father to me. He worked long shifts at a small auto repair shop, grease staining his fingers, exhaustion weighing on his shoulders. But no matter how tired he was, every evening he'd sit beside me, listen to me ramble about my day, and quietly remind me that I wasn't alone. His strength shaped me. Now I work as a nurse at a local clinic. I love my job, it gives me purpose. But every day I come home worried. My father is getting older, and age has not been kind to him. Some mornings he struggles just to get out of bed. His hands shake when he tries to button his shirt, and there are days his breath catches like his lungs are made of paper. I tried to do more, tried to save more, but the math never worked. My salary barely stretched to cover rent, groceries, Ethan's daycare, and my father's medications. Then one evening everything changed. I had just finished a long, draining shift. My back ached and my mind was foggy. I unlocked the apartment door and called out, "Dad? Ethan?" No answer. Panic twisted in my gut. I rushed inside and found him, my father, lying motionless on the living room floor. His skin was pale, his hands frighteningly cold. "Dad!" I dropped to my knees, my hands shaking as I cupped his face. "Dad, please wake up." The seconds blurred. I called an ambulance with trembling fingers, whispered prayers between sobs as I rode in the back of that cold van, holding his hand the whole way. At the hospital, the doctor's expression told me everything before he even spoke. His voice was low, grave. "Your father's heart is failing. He needs surgery. Urgently. It's going to be expensive." I nodded, but inside something cracked. I didn't have that kind of money. I barely had enough to cover next month's bills. That night, I sat by his hospital bed, the rhythmic beeping of machines the only sound in the sterile room. I held his frail hand, whispered into the silence, "Please don't leave me. I'm not ready." Days passed in a blur. I picked up every extra shift I could. I cleaned homes on weekends. I barely slept. Every dollar saved felt like trying to fill a bucket with a teaspoon. I was drowning in exhaustion, grief, and fear. And then it happened. One stormy night, I came home soaked to the bone. As I reached into the mailbox, I found an envelope, plain, unmarked. Inside was a folded note, written in careful handwriting. "For your father's surgery. Take care of him." And beneath the note, $20,000 in cash. I stood there, frozen, rain mixing with tears on my face. Who would do this? Who even knew? I had no answers. Just overwhelming gratitude. The very next morning, I rushed my father back to the hospital. The surgery took hours. I waited, pacing, praying, fingers twisting together in my lap. When the doctor finally returned with a quiet smile, I broke down. "It was successful," he said. "He's going to recover." I ran to his room and gripped his hand. "You're safe now, Dad." A week later he came home. He was weak but alive. The apartment felt warm again. Ethan giggled more. I started breathing again. But I never stopped wondering, who saved us? Months later the answer came. A man walked into the clinic one afternoon. He was tall, with gentle eyes and a quiet presence. He asked for me by name. "I'm Mark," he said. "I just wanted to meet the nurse who changed my sister's life." I stared at him, confused. Then I remembered Lily, a fragile, anxious young woman who had come in several times. I had sat with her, held her hand, stayed after hours when no one else would. She had reminded me of myself. Scared, hurting, needing someone. "You," I whispered. "It was you. You helped my father." Mark smiled softly. "You gave kindness without expecting anything in return." I just wanted to do the same. From that day, Mark became a part of our lives. He never imposed. He came with small gifts, books for me, toy cars for Ethan, fresh apples for Dad. He brought laughter back into our home. One evening after dinner, my father looked at him and said, "You treat us like family." Mark chuckled. "You all mean a lot to me." Later, as I washed dishes, he stood beside me, quiet. Then he turned and said, "Sophie, I didn't help your father just because of what you did for Lily." "Then why?" I asked, heart thudding. He paused, looked down, then back at me. "Because I care about you. From the first moment I saw you, I saw your strength, your kindness. I couldn't walk away." I didn't know what to say. The past had built walls around my heart, but his words, his honesty were slowly breaking through. "You don't need to say anything," he added quickly. "I just needed you to know." And so he stayed. Through hard days, through quiet dinners, through my father's healing. He was always there. Never pushing. Just there. One evening, Dad and I sat on the balcony as the sky turned shades of soft gold and purple. "You're strong, Sophie," he said. "But even the strongest need someone." Those words stayed with me. The next time Mark came by, I asked him to take a walk. The park was quiet, leaves crunching beneath our feet. "I'm scared to let someone in," I admitted. "But I don't want to lose you." He stopped walking and faced me. "You won't lose me, Sophie. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." For the first time in years, I believed it. Weeks passed. My father's health improved. Ethan laughed louder. And I slowly began to feel whole again. Then one evening after dinner, Mark stood up, reached into his coat pocket, and pulled out a small velvet box. My breath caught. He knelt. "Sophie," he said, his voice steady and warm, "you showed me how kindness can change a life. You changed mine. Will you marry me?" Tears welled in my eyes. Not from pain, but from joy. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes." My father clapped. Ethan jumped with delight, and Mark slipped the ring onto my finger. In that moment I realized life had broken me once. But love found me again. And this time I wasn't afraid to hold on.